Warning, this podcast was produced by two men who still think that swearing is both big and clever. As a result, it contains quite a lot of it. Therefore, this podcast is not suitable for children, unless they're really fucking cool children. Yes, people, Dave Fensom here with another episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. We are back with this episode. Thank you for all the feedback on the previous episode. Loving that you guys were enjoying that one. Big numbers for Shakadeem Suppliers, man. Either Stephen Hill's very popular or you guys are loving that big man Shakadee. We're back this week with a slightly different tone. This is Tori Amos, Under the Pink. See what me and Greer made of this one. I'm going to keep this intro short. As always, if you do want to support us, there's a PayPal link at the end. Keep it going, guys, and we'll be back with you real soon. Take it easy. Enjoy the episode. Yes, people, Dave Fensom here with another episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. As always, I am joined by the incredible Mr. Krister Greer.
He is incredible. He is Krister Greer. Hello, everyone. Looking forward to this one, I think.
Absolutely, man. It's a different type of albums that we look forward to. We look forward to the ones where we know it's going to be a funny experience, and there's other ones.
Shakademus and Pliers, you mean?
No, that was just a genuine bona fide reggae experience.
And thank you, by the way, to everyone who's kind of responded to that one. Our last episode, Shakademus and Pliers, where Stephen Hill from True Cult Pop came on and helped us out. We had a lot of good response to that. People seem to enjoy what we had to go through. But this one, so we're doing Tori Amos this week. We're doing her album Under the Pink.
The sophomore effort.
The sophomore effort, exactly. So her second solo album, which was number one for 1 week in February of 1994.
Which starts to speak of the rabid fan base that Tori Amos has. And if you are one of that rabid fan base and you have found us, we might not be that rabid.
Sure, and please don't hate us for the shit jokes and not taking it entirely seriously.
Yeah, I mean, don't worry about that. I'll probably be taking it quite seriously.
Oh, right, fine.
But just bear in mind that we may not be, we're not purporting to be the die-hard experts on the subject matter.
Yeah, that is also true. Yes,
just because I've come across quite a few Tori Amos super enthusiasts as I've been researching this podcast, and I've gone,
okay.
You guys are... You care a lot, and I'm fair play. I love that.
Sure.
that. But just bear in mind, we are not purporting to be the experts on the subject. We're just going to listen to this record and tell you what we think.
Very true.
About it.
If we do get stuff wrong, which is probably entirely likely, just let it pass.
Oh yeah, just let it pass.
Yeah, it's okay.
I want to be corrected.
Okay.
Correct me.
Correct me. Okay, well, like you say, this is the second solo album. She had done Little Earthquakes in 1992 as her first solo album. She'd obviously had the kind of the Why Can't Tori Read album in the 80s, which was not a success, and really kind of fucked her over in terms of confidence, because she was like, well, why isn't this a success? Why can't I make it? Because she is an incredible musician and songwriter, and so it had to take a whole kind of new tack with Little Earthquakes, but that really then showed her what she was capable of.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk about that one quickly first. Little Earthquakes, 1992. Were you aware?
1992, I wasn't listening to Tori Amos.
Okay.
1994, I wasn't listening to Tori Amos.
Okay.
I've subsequently gone back. Like, my wife's a big Tori Amos fan.
Okay, sure.
I've got those records in my house. I know the stuff well enough. I consider myself a fan. When it came to this record, though, I realised I probably didn't know it quite as well as I thought I might.
Oh, had you heard this before at all then?
I've heard this record.
Because it's in your house.
I've heard this record before.
You have, right. Have you sat down with it and listened to it, or has it just been kind of on?
It's been on, yeah. And I kind of, I don't know, I think I kind of presumed I knew it better than I did.
Okay.
So and when I went into it, there was a lot of stuff I was like, I'm hearing this for the first time, really.
Right, sure. For me, Little Earthquakes, I did hear that in 92 because a friend of mine, Niall Bakewell, who I'll probably refer to a few times in this podcast, he does another podcast, The Zeros, which both of us guested on the music episode.
Yeah.
He's a massive fan. And he introduced me to Little Earthquakes in 1992. And I thought it was great. I really did. But I didn't, listen to it over and over and over because there was other stuff I preferred in that time period. And I then just kind of let it slide. And I did not listen to this at the time at all because I was kind of just going a different direction. And I never went back to it. And to be honest, I didn't really go back to Little Earthquakes until maybe 95 or 96 properly. But when I did, I was like, this is absolutely incredible. This is an astonishing album. And I had it whenever we did our roundup of 92 as one of my favourite albums of the year. I think it's just wonderful.
I mean, it is a fantastic album, man.
Blew me away.
Funny enough, the last thing I listened to before I left the house today was Crucify.
Oh my God.
Jesus, what a song that is.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
And that's the thing about Tori Amos. She is devastating. I know I don't want to say too much going into this, but I was looking forward to this.
I got high hopes for this one because I've not heard this whole album at all before. I didn't go back to this even after rediscovering Little Earthquakes or anything like that because it was it's in the pile, but I was looking forward to getting into it for this because I bet you I was wrong, that sort of way. So I've got high expectations on this one.
All right, well, shall we just crack into it?
Absolutely, let's do it.
So let's look. We always start with a cover.
Yes.
So we got, a very kind of artsy shot here. Grey background. Tori is centre frame. On, kind of what appears to be kind of clouds, shredded paper.
Ice, something like that, yeah.
Something along
so it's
those
just sort of white stuff on the floor. She's there in a plain white dress. Stood stock still, just staring into camera. It's a nice image.
Yeah, it's a nice image. It's a good album. It works as an album cover.
Yes, it does.
Striking.
Yes, indeed. I mean, I suppose as well because there's the grey background, there's the white dress and the white floor. Then she's got the shock of red hair, so that stands out, and she's also got the very pink skin on show.
I love the way you say like on show there, like
like I'm some sort of Victorian.
Got a skin on show. I can see a bit of ankle there.
Yes.
How dare she?
Yeah. So this came out, like I say, February of 1994, and it was number one in the UK because she seemed to have a bigger audience really over this side than America.
Yeah, I mean, I remember The Enemy being incredibly all over Tori Amos.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And it was apparently kind of a decision made by the record label whenever she was releasing Little Earthquakes. They released it here first because they thought that the UK would be more receptive to a bit of a kind of a strange left of centre female kooky, weird, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, if you look at the lyricism, it's got a lot more akin to a lot of British indie music than it has maybe some of what was going on in the States at that time. Because they were very kind of in-depth, oblique lyrics that you kind of had to dig into.
Well, on this album especially, yes. Yeah, I mean, I'd say Little Earthquakes is probably a little bit more straightforward, but it's not straightforward by any measure. But I think it's more than this one. Well, I'll tell you what a couple of things I found out on researching sort of bits and pieces, that when Little Earthquakes was released, the first single from it in the UK was the Me and a Gun EP. That was the first single.
Jesus.
And for anyone who knows Tori Amos, you'll be presumably like me going, surely that can't be right, because that is a absolutely devastating a cappella song about a sexual assault.
Yeah.
And that was the first single that the East West decided to put out off that album.
Well, they were making a statement.
Well, apparently so. And also, whenever I look back at the Why Can't Tori Read band that she was doing, did you know that Matt Sorum was the drummer?
I did not.
Matt Sorum, he's not. Is he now Guns N' Roses or ex Guns N' Roses?
Ex Guns N' Roses. Right. Velvet Revolver.
Sure, yeah.
Ex The Cult.
Right. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Him. He was the drummer.
I mean, I suspect he's the reason it didn't work, because that guy fucking that guy has got no. I mean, if you want a flat 4 fucking plod, he's your boy. But
right.
Jesus Christ, you want any kind of feel, then go elsewhere.
Well, it could well be a mitigating factor in that. Then.
All right. Well, let's check out track 1, and this one's called A Pretty Good Year.
All right.
Oh, Jesus Christ, there's going to be piano in this.
Oh, I should have warned you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so we've got this kind of plinky piano, so we kind of expect lilting, quite a haunting melody coming in.
Yeah, and this definitely reminds me of Little Earthquakes. This is a very similar feel to what I had been used to on the first album.
Yeah, I mean, I'd describe it as like woundingly melancholic.
Okay, yeah. This was the second single from this album in the UK. It was released in March 94, got to number 4. No, sorry, it got to number 7. It was the 4th single in Australia, though, and it wasn't released in America at all. So I guess it's weird that all over the world it's different.
Well, interesting. Obviously, the lyric here is, it's, Greg writes his letters, he burns his CDs.
Right,
so,
yes.
Like reading into this, it's written about a guy called Reg who wrote her a fan letter, got through to her, and was just describing his life in his 20s and just feeling like he was done. He was...
Yes.
Everything was
kind
of over.
The point and anything else going on.
And so she's trying to write a letter, trying to write this song about that feeling, that kind of... And, that kind of thing that affects a lot of people,
No, of course.
Where you feel like life, life's got away from you, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
And I think she's captured it really well. There's a real bleakness to this, but it's done, as she does so deftly, with this just kind of beautiful, light touch. And it's just, I just find this song, like, as I said, just really... I don't know.
It hits a spot for you, does it?
Yeah.
Nice.
It does this here. Obviously, it's it's going to go into that bridge in a little while.
It's coming up to because this is a very downbeat, like you say, melancholy. She has said that she's met a lot of men like Greg in her time who, at a young age, are like, "What's the point?" And she's trying to work out whatever, and then. Yeah, this bridge comes in.
Fuck me, man.
I mean, first of all, what a fucking voice! Amazing voice this woman has.
Yeah, man. That just, like, it's just fucking proper gets the hairs up on the back of my hands.
Wonderful. Yeah, and I was wondering because this was. For me going, this is very Little Earthquakes, into that, which is a little bit harder than I'm used to from a Tori Amos song. I'm like, maybe is this going to be the way this whole album is? Is she looking for a kind of a more abrasive sound or whatever? So I'm kind of interested at this point to see what happens with the rest of this. This is a track one. I think this is very good. I think this is a really nice intro to the album. Yeah,
I think this is a brilliant. Beautiful song. It makes me feel sad and melancholic and optimistic all at the same time. I genuinely love it. If the rest of the album is to that standard, then we're in for a good time.
Great. In terms of what it is about, like you say, it's about this guy who'd written the letter and couldn't see any point in the rest of going on. And there are bits in there about the passage of time and the kind of early promise and that sort of thing, and is what you were able to do when you were young, and then do you see that you've kind of made a failure of things? There are very much parallels to her life in that as well, because she was, and I've said she's an amazing musician, she was apparently the youngest person ever who was admitted to the Peabody Institute at Johns Hopkins University at age 5, because she was so prodigiously talented on piano, like insanely talented on piano. And so she was starting down that road. She was kicked out of there when she was about 11 or 12, I think it was, because probably some rebelliousness, but also she didn't want to read music properly. She wasn't doing it by their rules, and so they chucked her out. But she was playing in bars in Washington, D.C., by the time she was 13. She was, playing proper gigs by this point, writing music, and that's whenever she did the Why Can't Tori Read project, and it did not work, that must have been jarring as shit.
Sure.
And so I can see parallels in this song for the early promise not fulfilled. Am I a failure? What's the point? That sort of thing. I can see that coming through for her as well as this Greg protagonist.
Out of interest, why can't Tori? Was that obviously that story you just told about her not reading music? Was that's why they called it Why Can't Tori?
Absolutely,
read?
yeah.
Okay,
apparently so. Well, again, that's what I've read in a few different places.
Sure.
I guess that's what it was about. I should probably if you've not heard us before, there's always comes up that I am much more about the song and can I hum this, whereas you would be more than I looking at the lyrics and that sort of thing. And so I will definitely admit that in this album, there are some lyrics I do not get.
I mean, there are lyrics in this album that I do not get.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of deliberately obtuse and oblique lyrics. And so for a lot of it, I have looked at it and gone, do I understand this? Okay, no, I don't. Looked at her explanation of it and gone, okay, right, fair enough. But a lot of time I am basing my like or dislike of a song on, do I think this is a nice song or a good song? And there's going to be a lot of that coming up from me. Because lyrically, I struggle sometimes with this album.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you probably find, I've kind of got an idea where this conversation's going to go. Right, we'll carry
on. Sure. But this shows me that even if on just a surface level, I think that's a lovely tune. I really like when it gets heavier. I really like that. I am surprised this was released as single number 2 because I don't know where it's going to sit on radio, for example, you know?
There is clearly one single on this album. There's a clear single on this record, and everything else isn't really that.
You got to force it.
But not everything has to be an album singles.
No, this is absolutely true. Just if I were whoever the A&R person at East West was at the time, I think I would have been, fucking this job is tough right now. Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into track 2. This one's called God.
God. All right. This was the 4th single off the album.
Okay, so we've got this kind of stomp. It's almost got like a fucking porno funk.
It is. Oh, there's a sleaze to this. It's great. Yeah.
You've got these screechy kind of semi-industrial noises in here.
Very much.
Then, like Tori's vocals just sitting on the top of it.
Exactly. Right. Floating over it. I think there's a proper funk swagger to this.
Oh, mate, it's
so nice. There's a real looseness, and it's a low slung.
And a looseness as well.
Loose, yeah. And I looked at the personnel on the album because I was like, oh, who is on this? Is it anyone else? And there's a guy called George Porter Jr. on bass. And he was one of the original members of the Meters back in the 60s.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That will absolutely do it. And if you don't know the Meters, you will have heard so many of their licks and beats in everything that's been sampled since then, because they are one of the cornerstones for funk samples. But that would explain it. If he's got any influence at all, I can see why this is happening.
And mate, let's just fucking talk about Tori Amos' phrasing, the way where she puts words.
Okay, yeah.
Where she puts words and fucking how she like puts them together like piano notes. It's fucking glorious. What she does. I love how she plays with words.
Oh, I'd not even thought about that, but the phrasing bit.
Listen to it up and down, mate. I love the way she phrases words. She does it like no one else.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay. And lyrically, it's called God, and it's basically her calling out God for being absent whenever shit's going down.
Or just saying, God, God isn't getting the job done, basically. And he talks about the idea of, in every species there's a male and a female.
Yeah.
Maybe God needs a woman.
There's a lot of
shit done.
Yeah, indeed. And she's putting herself forward as a volunteer as well. She's going, look, mate, I've got nothing else on right now. I can fucking do this for you.
Yeah, a few witches burn and gets a little toasty here.
Yeah.
There's some really nice little turns of phrase and flourishes in here.
Very much.
But importantly, I think the tune here is. It's kind of constant, ever evolving, but it's just brilliant fucking moments in it. It really kind of carries me through from the start to the end. You got that fucking great groove that it kind of comes back into and locks into.
Yeah.
And then these just like kind of lilting kind of flights across the.
I really do like the whenever she's doing that's lovely. It's brilliantly done.
And listen to that like weird kind of compound roll underneath it.
Yeah. This was the first single that they released in the States, and that's a brave move in the fucking Christian conservative America. But it did only get to number 72 in the Billboard chart, so maybe that's what you get if you take a chance and it doesn't work. It was number 1 on alternative radio, but in the actual charts, it wasn't.
Sure.
It didn't get there.
But again, I think at that point the alternative market is so strong. There's almost a big positioning or cementing yourself in that.
Yeah.
Because that'll carry through in
definitely, yeah. You probably don't give a shit if it's not played on mainstream, whatever. If you're getting on MTV2 or whatever it was at the time and getting talked about in the right places, that's what you're after. Yeah, and also lyrically, this is one of the more kind of straightforward songs lyrically, because it is just her going, right, come on, get a fucking grip, God.
Yeah.
I can't believe you're letting all this stuff slip by. And I really enjoy the whole feel of that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's playful. It's fun. It's a beautifully produced song, man, as well. It's really put together well.
Oh, totally. If you don't know kind of much backstory on Tori Amos, her father was a preacher. And so there's a lot of religious imagery running through all of her music. There was huge amounts on Little Earthquakes. There's a lot more on this as well. She talks very often about kind of her rebellion against Christianity, her breaking away from that, and being brought up in a very strictly Christian upbringing, and how she had to deal with the various bits of that. And so that's why I guess it's such a big deal for her to sing about these sorts of things, because the entirety of her youth was being brought up by this kind of ideals and scriptures. Apparently the album was originally going to be called God with a Big G, but the label said no, they wouldn't have it. Yeah, so it became Under the Pink. I will say I bought a book, a Tori Amos book called Resistance, came out a couple of years ago. I bought this in the post office when I was posting something because it was £4.50, and I went, I'll read this. Yeah. And I've just a couple of passages where I got that info. It was going to be called God with a Big G, but that got shot down by someone at the label. So then the muses guided me to the more expansive album title, Under the Pink. This reference was intended to speak to most women who have a pink to flesh-coloured G-spot associated with their internal anatomy. So, okay, it went from God to your G-spot. I suppose the big G.
With a capital G.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. I haven't finished this book. I'm probably 2/3 of the way through it. And I am surprised, and maybe I shouldn't be surprised, at how much of a very strange hippie type she is.
Oh, I wouldn't be at all surprised by that.
I'm really... she's out there, mate. She is really... she talks about that she doesn't write songs, they're a conduit, the muses. And she talks about the muses as proper actual things, not just as a concept. That the muses come and visit her, and the music comes out through that. There's a lot of that in the book, which is, fair enough, mate. I didn't think she was going to be just some Luddite.
Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, precisely. I didn't think she was going to be that, but I'm quite surprised at how far the other direction she's gone.
Well, the muses visit me and they told me about a girl from Galway.
Yeah, and he said, can you play it in this one chord? Yes, I can. Mate.
Absolutely.
Done. Fine.
Right, another redhead, though, of course.
Oh, of course.
We'll see track number 3 then. This one's called Bells for Her. Man, that piano is ominous, isn't it?
It's like a horror movie one. It's it's like a kid's piano that you hear playing, and you're like, but there are no kids in the house.
It's cinematic, and this is like, this is like a prelude to nothing good.
Yeah. And this, Tori Amos has said that there's a trilogy of songs on this album about women's cruelty to other women. Yeah. About when like trusted friends let them down or stab them in the back. And this is the first one that we're coming across on the album.
Yeah, I read talking about this, and she was saying it's about friendship where she'd have bet any money that whatever they went through, they could get through. Yep. And ultimately was found that was not the case. Yeah. And this song, I mean, I find this fucking utterly haunting.
Oh, right, yep.
I think that idea, that motif that's in here, the idea that life just keeps on moving, and you never really get anything fixed. You think, okay, I've done this now, and it's not like tasks. You don't go, oh, I've done that, so I don't have to do it again. Yeah. Everything constant maintenance on everything.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Whenever you just climb over, get over the top of one hill, there's another fucking hill. Yep. Waiting. She talks about the fact there's no resolution in this song, and I think that's really important. And
because life is a mess.
Yeah, and that's it. Life is a mess, and we're all kind of raised with the idea that there are resolutions and solutions to things, and everything gets wrapped up. And
and also if you're a good person, then it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But you can't account for other people.
Yeah, musically this one is obviously very slight. There's there's this very kind of simple piano going on here with her vocal over the top of it. Yep. But for me, and I've got a feeling this may be where we differ on this one, the mood that she conveys here, I find it just chilling, and it draws me in.
Oh, right, okay.
It's compelling. It's I'm not putting this on a playlist.
Yeah.
But while I'm in the moment and I'm with it, it's really got my attention, and I'm completely with it.
Okay. I like this bit. I like the kind of where she's going up and down again. I don't find this compelling. I find this a bit boring. I think there's some nice lines. I picked out a line as, and now I speak to you, are you in there? You have her face, her eyes, but you are not her. It's like, that's just, the change of a friendship instantly. But no, I find this very dull.
I can understand why you would come from there, but that's not how I feel about this at all.
Good, lovely.
This has just got a drama to it that I'm just like, it's that kind of thing, like when someone's speaking quietly, one of two things happens. You're either annoyed by it and you're like, fucking, what can you hear? Or what they're saying is interesting enough that you draw closer and you listen intently. And this is definitely the latter of those two things for me.
Oh, totally. And, one of my favourite bands is Low, and they are famed for, or they were famed for, playing so quietly that if people were talking and their music got drowned out, they would play even more quietly until it was like almost inaudible to everyone, so that you had to shut the fuck up and listen. They wouldn't try and rise above it. So I get the power of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I was going to say, actually, you've already proven me wrong, because I thought maybe if I had listened to this in 94, and especially maybe if I'd been a teenage girl, there'd be something more for me that would grab me, and I would feel more a kinship with this. But I don't. But you do, and so that's not the case. That's not why I'm not getting it.
I think it's just that she's got an ability to convey emotion through the tone of her voice and the delivery. And there are moments on this record where that doesn't work for me, and we'll get to them.
Yeah, fine.
But for me, these first three tracks are
win-win-win.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Oh, gorgeous. This is the longest song so far, nearly 5.5 minutes. And the other ones haven't overstayed their welcome. I find this overstays, but that's because I'm not into it. I'm sure you'd be more than pleased to know that I have given different names to some of these songs depending on how I feel about them.
Oh no!
And so I've dubbed this one Bori Amos. So that's what you're getting from me. I actually the last one, God, I thought it could be a couple of things. Could be like Heavenly Glory Amos, could be that, or it could be Michael Row the Boat Ashore Amos. Nice Christian little rhyme there.
Fuck my life.
Fun times.
Why have I done this?
Times.
Right. What have I done to deserve this?
Okay, so that was track 3. That was Bells for Her. Track 4 is Past the Mission.
Past the Mission, okay. So.
And this one was the third single. This was a single again in May 94, and it got to number 31. So let's play this one.
So this is, straight away, it's more up-tempo. It's got...
it's reggae.
But it's also got a bit of a old-timey church song feel to it, hasn't it?
Oh, sure. Okay, yep.
It's got like a what's the word I'm looking for? Religious...
gospel or...
No, there's a particular word I'm looking for, but I'm not going to find it, I don't think, right now. But then here we go into this chorus with your man on Trent Reznor on the backing vocals.
Well, yeah, but I don't understand why. If you've got access to Trent Reznor, and apparently she, and again, this is a quote from her where the song spoke to her and went, I want Trent Reznor to sing on me.
Yeah.
The song, this was a song talking to her, so she rang Trent Reznor, and he was up for it.
Yeah.
If you got access to Trent Reznor, I don't understand why you just get him doing a little bit of background vocals that you don't really notice, and it doesn't need to be Trent Reznor.
Well, I mean, maybe those were the terms that he was interested in being involved in.
Perhaps.
Maybe he didn't want to be involved in a kind of a big feature or something along those lines.
Very possible.
But this is fairly famously another song about sexual assault.
Yes. Yeah, I had to really look into what this was about because I didn't understand it from just the lyrics at all.
Yeah, this is a song I kind of didn't really know what it was. But once you know what it is, you can kind of...
You can piece back.
The thing is, I think she's an incredible lyricist, right? Because everything she writes is very... it's imagery that is evocative of an idea rather than being on the nose and completely explicit.
Totally.
And there are times when it's so, oblique that I can't decipher it.
Yeah.
But maybe that's because I don't have enough of the touch points for what she's talking about, or maybe it's just that's the way that's specifically designed. She's very candid when she talks about lyrics in interviews.
She
totally.
Obviously
has, it's not like, for example, to use somebody else that she's worked with, Maynard from Tool, where his lyrics are oblique, but he's like, I will not.
He refuses to discuss them, doesn't he?
Yeah, I won't explain these because they are what they are. You draw what you will from them.
Sure.
Whereas this is obviously coming from a different place. This is coming from a desire to be understood, but it's the craft, obviously.
Okay, sure.
Man. But that fucking the chorus in this song, man, just gives me absolute goosebumps. That kind of I smell the roses. That signification of trying to move beyond assault, not be defined by it.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's just fucking perfect.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, man. Like this, I think that backing vocal is really powerful. It's hardly there, but it really just makes.
Oh, I think it's
composition.
nice. I think it's absolutely fine.
I love this song, man. Again, I genuinely love this one.
Right, I don't get this one either. And I appreciate what she's saying. I absolutely do, and the message behind it. And there's some very clever bits, like because whenever you do look into it, and she's saying things like, "I once knew a hot girl. Where is she now? She can come back again." She's looking for how she was pre the sexual assault and this sort of stuff, and pre the trauma. She wants to be whole again. She wants to be better, and so I get all that, but it really is couched in not enough of a tune. I think. I
think that chorus has got a brilliant tune to it.
No, I don't really.
Let's just stop playing, and I'm humming it in my head as we speak. You know?
Yeah, sure.
I think that's a really maybe catchy isn't the right word, but I think that's an infectious chorus as well. It
is definitely it's a memorable chorus because yes, if you said to me, "Can you sing the chorus for that?" I probably could, but I don't think it's very interesting. I think it is just a little bit middle of the road. It's fine.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree
absolutely.
on that because I think you're fundamentally wrong.
Fine
on that. But
you know what was recorded?
I really like that one.
I see. Okay.
So 444.
Wow.
As we for the first section. I guess we should probably do some albums.
Let's do some albums. Right. Let's see what else was going on. We've only got 1 week's worth of records to look at because this was only number one between February 6th and the 12th. The top 10, we say it every week. Number 10, Dina Carroll, So Close. Just lurking.
How fucking many records has this woman sold?
Oh, I think it was like the second highest selling record of the previous year, never having got to number one.
And one of most boring.
It's got to be just wallpaper, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Never heard it, never will. Number 9, Bjork debut. Mentioned it before. Mm-hmm. Number 8, M People, Elegant Slumming, still in there.
Me.
Number 7, D-Ream with D-Ream On, Volume 1.
What was going on?
Mate,
listen to this. This is all terrible.
And I cannot
It was a dark time.
Imagine if your big single is Things Can Only Get Better, what's the rest of the album going to be like? Just sub that. Absolute shocker, man. Number 6, Bryan Adams, So Far So Good. Number 5, Mariah Carey's Music Box. Number 4, Diana Ross, Ultimate Collection. Number 3, down from last week, is Chaka Amos and Pliers with Tease Me.
Oh!
Hear me now.
Oh, dear.
Mate, I still fucking think of that sometimes and crack up. I genuinely do. A little in-joke from the previous episode there.
Oh, dear.
And number 2, and it looks like we almost had to do this one, and thank God.
Yeah.
Thank Tori, we don't have to do Garth Brooks within pieces.
Can you imagine? If we got I don't think he ever had a UK number one, did he?
No, but I mean number 2 is obviously close enough. It's scraping that.
I mean, fucking number 2, all right.
But yeah, that's not going to be any fun at all.
Can you imagine, man? I think we have to do steps at some point, possibly.
Oh, I'm sure we will.
There will be some boot scooting in our life.
Oh, hooray! Did Billy Ray start? No, I don't think we got any Billy Ray. No, God. Okay, so that's all that was in top 10. In the rest of kind of the releases, this is what we got in the 1 week. Sheryl Crow released Tuesday Night Music Club, which I made a note because it was released in this February of 1994. It the highest it got to was number 8 in 1995. So it's a long one here.
Yeah,
and again,
yeah.
I don't think we got to do it. I don't think it's in the list.
Nah.
But it just kept on selling and selling.
It was off of that single just blew up so big.
All I Want to Do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that single, to be honest. I think that was a great song. Jawbox released For Your Own Special Sweetheart. I've read so much about them at the time and never got into them at all.
I've never listened to Jawbox.
No. How about Jawbreaker with 24-Hour Revenge Therapy?
I mean, I think I've possibly seen Jawbreaker live. But,
oh, really? Yeah.
Back,
didn't they just reform and support Girls Against Boys or something?
They're just one of those bands, aren't they? They're just one of those kind of epitaphy
Oh,
bands.
totally. Hardcore fan base. Sold hardly anything, but were lauded in the press.
Yeah. Just Van store. Stalwarts.
Oh yeah. Cake released their debut album, Motorcade of Generosity. And I wasn't aware of Cake at this point at all. It wasn't until The Distance. 96 was that? 97.
To be honest with you, I've never really investigated them. I really love The Race. Danced to it loads in clubs, but I've never really investigated them much beyond that.
Right, but they've got a couple of other really, really good singles.
Yeah.
But for me, they're not an album band.
Okay.
And then the only other one I got a note of is the Beastie Boys released Some Old Bullshit.
Oh, nice.
Which was kind of their placeholder before they were going to do Ill Communication.
Yeah. I remember that coming out.
I remember it coming out. And I was very excited because I was such a huge fan of Check Your Head. And then I'd gone back and got into Paul's Boutique and this sort of stuff. Big fucking Beasties fan. And then Some Old Bullshit came out. And I was pretty disappointed.
Oh, yeah, because it's just mainly old hardcore songs.
Exactly, yeah.
And not really what you're necessarily
Not
into.
what I'm into. And it had the Cookie Puss thing on the flip, which was okay. But
Egg Reggae of Mojo.
The hardcore version of this, I think it is. But yeah, I was like, oh, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be loads of stuff that it should have been on those albums. Oh, right, no, this is some old bullshit. No, it wasn't awful, but it was not for me.
Not for you.
One bit. But yeah, that's all I've got. There's only a few releases there. So that's what the world was looking like.
Okay, well, let's crack back into track number 5 from Under the Pink. This one's called Baker Baker.
Baking a cake, make me a day, and make me whole again.
Okay, so we're into another power ballad here. Not power ballad.
That's damnier with faint praise. Even though I love a power ballad, but yeah.
Another piano ballad.
Yeah. This sounds very much like a Little Earthquakes era song again to me straight away. The whole feel of it.
And again, so look, this one's about a relationship that she's saying she wasn't, emotionally available for.
Yes.
Where she feels like she maybe did some of the things that women accuse men of doing.
Uh-huh.
And, she's quite self-critical about herself in an interview about that.
Yeah. I mean, she has said as well that some of that is because of the rape, because of the sexual assault. She it forced who she really was down inside her, and she couldn't be open and free and emotionally available for a long time after that. Yeah, so she didn't want to be like that, but for someone who genuinely wanted to love her, it was difficult for her to let herself be free to do so.
Now, this is one where I find this perfectly fine.
Yep.
But it kind of doesn't stick its fingers into my soul like the other tracks on this record have. For me, this is the first one that I've gone, this is kind of an album track.
Right,
and I feel a bit bad almost saying that about something that's obviously got that amount, because all of this stuff has got so much heart in the creation of it.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, for me, this one kind of washes over me a bit.
Yeah, I have that. As soon as the tune's done, I can't really remember the tune. There's some nice bits in it. I'm going through and going, yeah, that's all right, that's nice, that. And the sentiment, obviously, there are some powerful bits in this. But once it's done, I'm like, oh yeah, couldn't tell you what happened there.
I guess the example I would use on this is, because I listen to this quite a few times walking my dog.
Oh, yeah.
And so the first 4 tracks, they'd have my absolute attention.
Uh-huh.
I'd be listening to her and it'd be making me think about bits and bits, about what's going on. And then I'd find myself thinking about other stuff when this came on.
I see, right. You'd wander.
And I think, there aren't as many lyrical hooks in it. The lyrics don't sit as prominently in it, possibly.
Sure.
And
it's a strange conceit, the baker thing. Baker, baking a cake. Make me a day, make me whole again. I don't know why she's chosen a baker as the metaphor for a healer. And because you're saying it is a lot to do with how she was not the nicest person to be in a relationship with at this point, and she was self-destructive. It's likely that this is about a guy called Eric Ross, who produced Little Earthquakes and this album, and she was in a relationship with at the time.
And made donuts.
Yeah, quite. So it's a little bit kind of awkward, I guess, if she's singing this about your relationship. But they did break up, I think, either during the recording of this or very shortly afterwards. Right. And he didn't produce anything else with her again. Sure. She did self-production for the entirety of the rest of her career. She's produced every album herself, which makes a lot of sense to me, because she has such strident views on her music, and she will not let other people tell her, especially after the fucking Why Can't Tori Read thing, she will not let anybody else tell her, don't do this, or this doesn't sound good. So it makes sense that she should just produce her own stuff.
Yeah, it's a kind of an auteed...
Oh, yeah, she's in control of the whole thing. But for Eric Ross at the time, when he was producer, it's just got to be, this is awkward in the studio. Oh, that's how you feel, is it? Okay, cheers. Overall, I'm just feeling a bit whatever about that song.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about that one, and that's with the background of feeling very strongly about the other four.
Of course.
So, okay, let's do track number 6. This is The Wrong Band.
Right
Now, so we're in waltz time.
We are,
and we're very much in that kind of classic kind of parlour music.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it sounds like it's a pastiche of Noel Card or something like that. Yeah. I don't know if you've any knowledge of the song I'm about to say. For some reason, it reminded me of Patricia the Stripper by Krister.
Oh, right. Okay.
Which is a similar kind of piano, jaunty 1920s.
Well, that's quite interesting because, I mean, again, this is a song that I could not decipher the lyrics on.
Okay, yep.
Personally, I've read through them and I was like, but I read on the site, whatever, that it may be around a sex worker that she knew.
Yeah, that's what I've seen as well.
That had to kind of make an exit because they were involved with a politician.
Yeah, it seems to be back when she was doing the DC bars, and there was obviously a lot of guys from that scene in there, and there was a prostitute who got involved with someone who I think was maybe privy to some information that she genuinely thought was going to get her killed. Yeah. And so she left the country. Fled in case. So just this bit, I fucking love this bit. I think this is absolutely fantastic, this piece.
Yeah, this is the thing. This song for me, it's a real change of pace on the record.
Sure.
And this is not something I would feel like I'd normally be drawn to at all. But I really fucking love it.
I think this is fantastic. I honestly think this is brilliant.
There's a voice here.
Oh, God. Oh, it's so much going on. And then back into this. I mean, there's a parallel, I think, isn't it? Happy Phantom on Little Earthquakes, where it's a little bit novelty. I really like it because it's a lot of fun. I think this is. I think this bit of it, that kind of jaunty stuff, is very peculiar.
It's almost Python-esque.
but yeah, it is. But then when it comes into this bit, honestly, I think it's fucking gorgeous. And I like the wrong band being the title. It seems to be akin to being in the wrong place at the wrong time, which is why this person, she's called Ginger in some of the stuff I've read. This sex worker, wrong place, wrong time, got involved with the wrong guy, and it just completely fucked her life, and she had to leave the country and never be seen again. And it's also feeling out of place. It's like everyone else in the band is perfectly happy and is getting on with stuff. I'm in the wrong band because I can't take this, and this is not right for me. There's a lot of that feeling that everyone else is kind of judging you or whatever, and you're needing to make a change and get out. I like that about it. Turns out, that she is friends with Neil Gaiman, who did The Sandman.
Yeah.
Gaiman is known to have quoted The Sandman's original artist, Sam Keith, who left the title early on, as telling Gaiman, I feel like Jimi Hendrix in the Beatles, I'm in the wrong band. And so that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. It's not like you're in a bad thing, you're just not the right person for that at that time. Yeah. But no, I do think that's fucking wicked.
Yeah,
it really got me. I think the chorus is brilliant, much more than the verses. When it swoops and soars, her voice is beautiful, and she swings around the whole song. She's just like all over it, just gracefully done. and obviously Hoary Amos.
Nice.
There you go. That's what I'm calling this one. It's about sex workers. Hoary Amos.
Fucking
Obviously.
amazing.
There you go.
Wow.
Yep. All right. So that's number 6. Shall we do the next one, number 7?
Yeah. This one's this is dedicated to the Always Sunny fans. It's called The Waitress.
The Waitress. And as we mentioned earlier, Amos has said there's like a trilogy of songs about betrayal by other women. This is another one of that trilogy.
And here we've got some industrial clang. Now, this is the point where you go, if you're going to do this song and you had access to Trent Reznor. Yeah.
Absolutely, exactly. But yeah, it's like very off-kilter, ominous feeling. Opening line, so I want to kill this waitress.
Brilliant. Absolutely fucking brilliant.
Wow. Yeah.
And this chorus, man.
Oh, God. Yeah, exactly. But whenever I first was listening to this, it was in the background and I kind of forgot where it was going. When I properly listened to it, I'm going, this is building. This is a nice feel. This is cool, man. This is, it's getting somewhere. And then when this comes in the chorus,
come on.
Holy shit, man. Holy fucking hell.
Bitch.
I believe in peace, bitch. Yeah. That's a wicked line.
And yeah, this idea of just fucking no matter what you believe in, what your belief system is, just being overtaken by the powers of your emotion, your anger and violence.
Yeah.
Man, I fucking know that feeling.
Oh, mate, both of us have been bad for that at times. Exactly. And this is it. And she's saying, she sees herself as a peacemaker and someone who can talk through a problem and would never resort to violence. But she does refer to a specific incident, apparently, where a waitress really pissed her off and she just fucking lost her shit. And she literally said, I want to kill her. But and then there's the whole thing about there are so many people who have done the same and they've let it go 1 second too long and not restrained themselves, and they're in jail for murder now. But yeah, when this punches its way through the door with this chorus, it is pure fury and release.
I mean, look, it was the 90s. A bit of Quiet Loud was all the rage, right? But, I'm a 90s kid, man.
Yeah.
Fucking this one does it for me a lot.
Oh, this is just wondrous fury, over a tune of absolute menace.
Yeah.
Just brilliantly done. Brilliantly done.
That noise, man.
Yeah. Inflammatory Amos.
Inflammatory Amos.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yes, indeed.
Do you know what, man? I was looking at my... I'm going to have to go, I think.
Oh, mate, there's more. Cool.
That's the way you tell
It
them.
is.
That's a joke for fans of the 80s.
Yeah, indeed. She has also said that this song, after the incident with the waitress, it was written and recorded within like 48 hours. It just fucking flew out. Once it was, the inception was there, bam, done. Just fucking get it out, get it done. And I think there was a few songs
I feel like
there.
Tori Amos could fuck some shit up as well.
Mate, I would not want to get in her wrong side.
Nah, bruv.
Dude, honestly, you look at her when she's playing the piano, and she is beating that piano up. I would not go, to be honest, I don't think you're quite right there, Tori. No, you do what you want, mate. Absolutely do what you want. Right, so that's track number 7.
Okay, it's track number 8. Okay, I mean, this is obviously the one that, if you know a Tori Amos song, this is probably the one you know.
There you go.
Cornflake Girl.
Cornflake Girl. And this was the first single in the UK. It got to number 4 in the January 94. And obviously, I remember this one. But the thing is, and I will admit this, I remember it, and I remember being a bit disappointed.
How?
Because I thought I didn't think it was as... I don't know. I thought some bits of it was like, no, you're trying too hard, something like this. And so me, being a stubborn arsehole, was like, well, I'm probably not going to like the album, and that's why I didn't listen to it for years.
This to me is the paranoid android of Tori Amos.
Oh wow, really? I mean, I think it's I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
But
it's just it's like Paranoid Android, and there are so many bits to it.
Sure.
There's so many just clever little just moments within the song that you listen every time you hear it. You listen to it and you can hear a new little bit every time you listen to it. It's, the overall conceit, they're kind of the Cornflakes Girls versus Raisin Girls.
Sure, yep.
Like it's again, this is the other song in the trilogy almost, isn't it?
It is. This is the other one. Yeah.
So. This is a beautifully complicated argument that she creates. It's like this argument about betrayal between women. I can't even be bothered to to try and get into the nuances of this conversation. But it's,
Yeah.
I was reading this and going, this feels like the type of, and without sounding like a you can't say that anymore kind of dickhead,
Yeah.
but it does sound like very much like the nuanced kind of argument when you try and get into the minutiae of something and understand it, that seems to be shouted down at the moment by how black and white arguments are in common, in just everything's a soundbite at the moment.
Sure, yeah.
And this kind of digs into the very, very interesting feminist idealism that as with everything, it's not 100% for me, but you can kind of appreciate a nuanced argument when you see one.
Amos has said, right, there's a quote from her from an interview around this time. We women have to deal with the patriarchy first, but then what's the alternative? When you say patriarchy, you don't have to be a man to be a part of the patriarchy. One always feels safer when there are good guys and bad ones, but there are no good guys out there. It's not as if one sex can make it okay. Mm-hmm. So, yes, exactly. There's the message of this system set up to benefit men is fucking everyone over, but the women who are fucking women over are playing right into their hands and making it worse.
Absolutely, yeah, because there's a lot of conversation about this idealised idea of sisterhood she had being shattered around this point and being fucked over by different people. First and foremost, it's a fucking wonderful piece of music.
It's a banger.
If you know nothing about the lyrics at all, it makes you feel a certain way. Right?
Yes, and I had no idea what this song was about at all. I kind of assumed, whenever I first heard it, Cornflake Girl, Raisin Girl, I thought that was some sort of a metaphor for the American high school cliques thing, and I was like, oh, the cool kids? Maybe she wasn't one of the cool kids, she was one of the weird goths, and that was the metaphor. Turns out that was not what it was, but it doesn't matter if you don't really know what it's about, because you can just enjoy this as a tune. Yeah, there's this.
And I've forgotten her name, but that fucking vocal there is.
Oh, Mary Clayton. Mary Clayton. Yeah, I didn't realize this was who was on it. She is the woman who sang the female vocals on "Gimme Shelter" by the Rolling Stones. She is very central in the documentary 20 Feet from Stardom, which is a great documentary about backup singers. But she's got a powerful voice on her.
God.
Yeah, and so when she's coming in with that Man with the Golden Gun Bridge, it really, really helps. It elevates the whole thing. And weirdly, I read that one of the inspirations that Amos had when writing this song was when she was living in London. The flat she was in was in a very, very multicultural part, and she was hearing loads and loads of reggae, and so that is what she based the kind of the beat of this song on. It's like a reggae beat underneath the whole thing. So yeah, it's like
put it on the playlist.
Put on the playlist, yes.
But don't you wish more white people would do this with reggae?
Do this with reggae.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Now, if you didn't read any of her talking about the lyrics, I don't know how you would understand what this was about. It's another one that's just completely out there, She's gone to the other side, giving us a yo-hee-ho. Things are getting kind of gross. She then said in the interview, she says, that bit, I think that's very clear. I said, what? The fuck are you on? And then I go to sleepy time. This is not really happening. You bet your life it is. That is about the shock of, discovering the betrayal and discovering having been standing about. You're like, this can't be happening. Yeah. We're friends. This is the sisterhood. Yeah. You bet your life it is. This people are just shit. Yeah. No, this is a fantastic song. Obviously, it's fantastic.
It's I mean, as I said, in my mind, it's an unassailable song. It's just one of those. It's just one of those kind of pantheon tracks. It's like I can almost hear Tori Amos purists telling me how it's one of the most overrated songs because other songs.
Sure.
But there is sometimes a case for the reason why certain songs are the best known.
Why is this so popular? Oh, because it's really good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there is the other bit of this song as well, which is from reading into it. And again, why would you ever know? She said at the time she was reading a book about sisterhood and about betrayal and stuff like this. And one of the things that really stood out to her was whenever a woman would give their daughters up for female
the FGM,
female genital mutilation.
Yeah, see, that was I'd read that story as well. And I couldn't remember whether it related to this song.
It's this one. She said she was reading about it, and it feeds into the whole women betraying women thing. But she's said a lot of it. I guess it's probably because this was the lead single. She said a lot of it in interviews about this. Yeah. And so she is saying, in those cases when it's mothers handing over their daughters to these butchers, she calls them, and it's other women in the community holding the child down while it happens, and therefore being complicit in the act. It just made such an impact on her, the realization of that, and the stories that she was reading, that it really fed into the anger and the venom she had.
Sure.
There's also...
I think there's a bigger argument to be have there about fucking institutional violence.
Well, exactly. And what would happen if they didn't?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. That definitely is. But, this was what she was reading and channeling at the time.
But then, that then kind of goes into that whole, easy pop psychology, the Stanford prison experiment, the power of conditioning and...
Sure, but also the fear of the men who are telling you this is what has to be done.
Yeah. And, and there are certain things that you're raised to believe or the way to be, and you don't challenge them until later. And I think when you've got that rebel spirit and your mind is quite different to the family you come from, that is more outrageous to you.
True.
And I've got a bit of that about me myself. I'm quite different from my family.
Yep.
I get annoyed when people don't challenge things that are obviously wrong for them.
Yeah.
That will tear you apart living in England, won't it?
God,
that
imagine.
feeling.
Yeah.
Should we have a party for the next election when the Conservatives get back in?
I know. Fuck me.
Because there's 2 years for them to bring it back, and they will somehow. Anyway, but let's move on.
Okay. Well, we're now 2/3 of the way through the album. So
let's crack on and do singles, shall we?
All right then. So we'll start with the top 10 singles of this week, February 6th to 12th.
Bring them on.
Some proper shit in here. Here we go.
What a surprise.
Number 10, and there's no way you're going to get what this is called, but you might think, this sounds like such and such.
Is it Ace of Base?
No, it's no. But
sounds like Ace
I
of
see
Base.
why you think that. No, it's not Enigma, but it's one of the swathe of bullshit that came in Enigma's wake.
It's bad, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it was on those Pure Sounds CDs. This is Deep Forest.
The Deep Forest.
Deep Forest.
Kelly.
Yeah, Deep Forest Kelly. I can't give it any more, Captain. This is called Sweet Lullaby. So, and listen to this shit.
That was Scotty you just did.
Oh shit, it was. They're not Bones.
Not
Damn.
Bones.
Sorry, Trekkies.
Yeah, this is fucking awful.
Awful.
I don't think I've ever heard this before.
No, why would you? This was number 10 though in the charts.
Was it?
God's sake.
People are cunts.
Honestly, really. All right, so yeah, that's number 10. Number 9 though.
When people complain about what's in the charts these days, right?
I know. Point them at
Listen
to
that, yeah.
Yeah, it's true, man. Number 9, and he's going to say it immediately.
I like to move it, move it.
Oh, yeah. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it. Reel to reel, featuring the Mad Stuntman.
There you go. I was going to make sure you got the featuring bit, the Mad Stuntman.
The Mad Stuntman, I think, is possibly my favourite artist name of all time. I love the idea that he's not just a stuntman, right? But he's reckless.
Oh, not him. He's fucking mental.
Oh, we've got the Mad Stuntman. What have you done? Why have you brought him along? He's absolutely uninsurable, right? And clinically ill.
No, man, but listen to his rhymes.
Who know? He likes to move it.
Oh, God. Yeah. Did you like this at the time?
Ironically.
Okay, sure. This annoyed the piss out of me, this song.
I mean...
It really did.
I kind of like this.
I mean, it's definitely following on from the ragga stuff that we were saying was taking over the charts.
Physically fit.
Oh wow! Oh, so when I said he's got great lyrics, maybe I was wrong.
Fantastic. Oh.
Right. Anyway, so that's number 9.
Kids fucking love this though because it's all over the. It's one of Madagascar movies.
Is it? Ah, yes. Fine. Number 8 is a new entry. I've not put it on the playlist because there's no way either of us would ever have known this. Wendy Moten with Coming Out of the Rain.
Wendy Moten.
Wendy Moten. Not
Wendy Moten.
Number 8 in the charts.
That sounds like a village in Somerset.
Yeah, it does as well. No, couldn't tell you.
Yeah, just take that. You on the A232, turn right Wendy Moten.
Or it sounds like the Travelodge.
Yeah.
Junction 16 is the Wendy Moten services. Yeah.
Or Chieftain Lady, Wendy Moten.
Oh, God. Number 7 is K7 Combo Become, which we've seen.
Yeah.
Number 6, Bryan Adams, Sting, and Rod Stewart, all in one place. There was a good chance. All for Love.
I mean,
No.
where are the IRA when you need them?
Number 5. See, you remember this one. No, well, that's the name of the song. It's A Deeper Love.
Yeah. Whoa.
One of the most famous female singers of all time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sort of,
It's like Aretha Franklin.
it's Aretha Franklin. Yeah, this was
I
like her
don't-
90s
I
output.
kind of feel like I've heard this, but also don't remember it, if you know what I mean.
Oh, fair, yeah. I mean, you definitely would have heard it because it was quite big at the time. Well,
It's
it
quite
was number
generic
5.
as well, though.
Very generic. It's essentially the record company have gone, all right, Aretha's still signed to us. Get some producers in
Yeah.
and do Soulful House is making money. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So that's what's happened there. So that's number 5. Number 4.
The whispers in the morning.
And right, obviously you know the song, but it's not Jennifer Rush because it's 1994, so it has to be.
I can't fucking remember who's done that.
Oh, what? We were going to have to do the whole album later this season.
Are we?
Yeah. I mean, let me get to a bit where.
It's not Celine, is
Of
it?
course it is. Absolutely, it's Celine.
I
Yeah.
don't remember her doing this.
Oh, this was like one of her big breakthrough ones. This was one of the first ones where she got like,
Do you know,
fucking
man, do
Celine's
you know
got a
what, man?
voice. Yeah.
I was kind of. There were a few artists, like when we were working in HMV,
Yep.
which was like 90.
97, 98.
Yeah.
Yep.
There were a few artists that I was just genuinely like, these people are huge and massive, and I've managed to completely block
Oh, I
them
see,
out of
right.
my life. And
Right.
Celine Dion, like how big Celine Dion was and how vast her catalogue was.
Yeah.
That was one of them where I was just like,
Oh, right. You
Really?
stepped in from a different world and went,
Really?
this has happened.
yeah, like, yeah, genuinely, like, you know, when all of a sudden Buffy's got a sister.
That's a reference gone over my head, I'm afraid.
Well,
Right. But yeah,
anyone cool will know it.
yeah, true. Celine Dion there, yeah, Power Love. Number 4, and like I say, we are going to have to do the whole album at some point. So we'll come back to that.
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah. Then we've got Enigma with Return to Innocence at number 3, which we saw last week. And again,
When's the album out?
oh, it's the next one we're doing.
This is the last episode of this podcast. It's been a good run. I hope you've enjoyed all 5 seasons of it.
Yeah. I know.
Unfortunately, I've got to move to Cuba.
Tony Braxton's at number 2 with Breathe Again, and D-Ream thinks he'll only get better at number 1.
Yeah,
So,
and they presumably can.
after Enigma.
After Enigma.
Well, you say that, then it's Morrissey after that. Yeah, we'll see.
What the fuck is happening this year?
It's a weird year, dude. It's a weird year. Right, other singles that are in the charts this week, anyway. This one, and we're going to have to do this album at some point, so we don't need to talk too much about it. But can you remember this one?
Not yet.
I'm sure you will, especially once the vocals come in. It got to number 16 in the charts.
Wow. I mean, it'll do something in a minute, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. I do remember, I think maybe this was out. Oh, here we go. This might have been out a little earlier, and this is
There you go.
going
Yeah,
back
yeah.
up the charts.
Cranberries.
Yes, indeed. Because I remember playing this on
Linger.
Thank you. On the radio show that I did in my last year of school, which would have been the previous year. I'm sure I played this on that. Well, I didn't. My co-host did. Well, I thought it was all right. So, but anyway, we're going to have to do that at some point. So that's number 16. Got that.
Switch it off, mate. Don't let it linger.
Hey, don't let it linger. This one. Right, you get this. It's got to number 20. Boom, 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 boom.
Which indie band is this?
Oh, it's every indie club playing this at the time.
Yeah, I remember.
Huge.
Oh, man. I've heard this so many times and I cannot remember what it is.
Oh,
It's,
no.
Hang on.
Oh, no.
It's not Blur. It's not Elastica.
It is Elastica.
Oh, is it Elastica?
It's
Oh, it is
Elastica.
Elastica, okay.
Yeah.
So the first thing that went in my head was Elastica, and I went, no, it's not Elastica. I'm just. What's the
Yes,
track
indeed.
called?
It's Line Up. Line up in line, line up in line. That one. Yeah.
Cool.
I think that's brilliant. I think that's a really good album. To be honest, that first album I think is solid all the way through. It's really good.
Is that the one that's got Connection on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Connection's a fucking brilliant
Oh,
song.
honestly, but the whole album's like 35 minutes long. Only 10 songs on it, and everyone's just big, catchy tunes. This one, we've mentioned many times before, the band. We always go, yeah, and I'm not particularly into them. This might even have been the last song off the album on this one. It's got to number 36. Ring any bells?
It's yeah, I know. It's Manic Street Preachers.
Yeah, it's Manic Street Preachers, absolutely. And this is not a bad song, in terms of my ranking of Manic Street Preachers songs, which would be, there's 4 I like and the rest are a bit shit.
Yeah.
This is all right. This is Life Becoming a Landslide. It's totally fine. Totally fine. But yeah, whenever this chorus comes in, let's see if we can do this. It's proper chug, 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 chug. It's all right.
I don't like that at all.
All right.
No,
not
that's
for you.
giving me the ick.
Okay, fine.
No, thank.
No. I mean, I've put this one in, not because you'll know it at all, but just in case. There's probably some listeners who'd be like, oh my God, I haven't heard this in years. Only goes number 37. This is a band called Cud.
I literally thought that was a Screaming Trees for a second.
Oh shit! Right, yeah. See why you said it. Yeah. No, this is Cud with Neurotica, and yeah, there'll be some people listening, I'm sure, who were like proper into that kind of indie stuff at the time. This was out. This was out at the time. Also, Boo Radley's Barney and Me was out.
The Goths liked a bit of Cud though as well, didn't they?
No. A little bit, not overly. They were more in with that kind of jangly pop or the Grebo side of things. But yeah, again, I haven't put them in the place. Boo Radley's Barney and Me got 48. Sleeper released a Swallow EP, which was their first thing, I think, and only got to 76. Interstella released Point Hope, only got to 87. But there is one other indie one, which is a proper classic that I suspect you will know. This one only got to number 52, but this was another one that I was playing in the indie clubs all the time whenever it released. You've heard this, I'm sure.
Heard it
yeah,
1,000
right.
times, yeah. Yeah. Oh, who is
So
this
it's
fucking
called
band?
Cut Your Hair.
Cut Your Hair. I cannot remember.
What is the band? No. What is it? It's like the archetypal US college rock, a little bit weird band. Who isn't the Flaming Lips, I suppose?
It's Pavement.
It's Pavement.
It's Pavement.
Yes, it is. Pavement, Cut Your Hair. And then the last one I've got that was out in this time, you're going to get straight away.
But yeah, it's Gin and Juice by Snoop.
It's straight from the first sound effect. Gin and Juice. Got to number 39, so top 40 song. Yeah.
I fucking love this tune so much.
You must have been well into this at the time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I was like literally blast this, rewind it back, play it again.
Bam, bam, bam. Well, in a a list of singles that is ostensibly all kind of indie guitar, this is the one hip hop tune. So
Yeah.
there's a little bit for you there.
Where's on way? I'm coming up with funky ass shit like every single day.
Lovely. All right. Well, with a little bit of Snoop in our minds, it's probably time to head back into a little bit of piano.
Next one is Icicle.
Icicle.
So, yeah, quite hard to follow Cornflake Girl, really, isn't it?
Yes.
So how'd you do it?
Well.
With a song about...
Yeah. And here's the thing, right? There's a massive long intro on this for a start. And whenever I went back to Belfast just in January of this year, we're recording this in March, I met up with my mate Niall Belkwell for a pint, who's this massive Tori fan, yeah? We discussed this upcoming episode, and he was of the opinion that there was no way in hell that two middle-aged straight men should be reviewing this album without another input, because you're going to have to talk about songs like Icicle,
Yeah.
which is about a young girl discovering wanking.
Yeah.
And So to have us going, and here's what I think about this song, is a little bit weird. But you know, fuck it. That's what we do.
Well, I had plenty of wanks as a teenage boy, wearing my G.I. Joe pajamas.
G.I. Joe.
But I mean, ostensibly about her masturbating whilst her father had a full congregation of of Christians in the room below her,
yes,
essentially.
Yeah.
So the icicle is the metaphor for the finger.
Yes, indeed. It's like
not
her
even a
cold,
metaphor,
fingers.
Yeah.
And there's a line in there seeking out a warmer place.
Yeah, so we don't need to go into the. It's
No. We
I'm
can
enjoying
skip
this kind of discord.
Do you? So I think this is unnecessary. This is 2 minutes of intro.
Yeah.
And it goes from a very pretty start to that weird clanging before it gets into the song proper. And I do think that's
almost as if she's trying to kind of establish some kind of motif about worlds colliding and contrast.
Maybe so, or just teasing us.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's quite a lot of stuff about religion in this song. It's not just about.
The best lyric in this, man,
Yeah.
is bow your head like the good book says. Well, I think the good book is missing some pages.
Yeah, fucking brilliant.
What a fucking brilliant lyric.
Absolutely
that
brilliant.
is.
Yeah, yeah. And when they say take of his body, I think I'll take from mine instead.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
That is quality writing. Yeah. And she's rebelling against those structures again that tell you that masturbation is sinful and blasphemous.
Yeah.
That she has been instilled with since she was growing up, and she's finding out that it's not blasphemy.
Yeah. And she obviously she's finding connection to the world and discover.
Yes.
There's a lot about discovering truth through things that you discover yourself and kind of challenge against ideas that have been indoctrinated into you, and that's a powerful thing. That's that thing where rebellion is a real thing rather than a phase, if you know what I mean.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
I
love that bit. That voice there. Yeah. Such a delicate, wavering, just beautiful piece of music. I think it's just gorgeous. The whole song is
the whole thing is fucking stunning.
Absolutely.
Man.
And the piano and her voice match so perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, if I was looking for any criticism, I'd say at 5 minutes 47, it probably is slightly too long, and that probably is in the intro.
Mate, exactly. Chuck 45 seconds off that, get a bit more into it straight away, and that's the only criticism I've had, because I think every single bit of this, that fucking note she's hitting there, the whole mood of this, it is kind of secretive and hidden, and she's being very quiet and hiding. It's incredible, this song.
And this is the thing, it doesn't matter. I don't think if you've, I'm sure if you've actually, as with everything, if you've actually experienced the thing, it has a different resonance with you.
Of course it will.
But as with all great art, we've all had something like this. We've all had, whether it's a sexual thing, whether it's a fucking drug thing, we've had something illicit that goes against what we've been taught, that we discover and get some pleasure from, and we learn.
Yeah.
And you can, if you've got any kind of empathy and intelligence, you can kind of draw parallels, and that's what music should do. You should kind of go, I understand how I felt like this, but then this person's expressing this thing and they feel it slightly different.
I recognise.
Yeah, and you get this kind of range of emotions. But this is a brilliant song.
It is. It really is. Obviously when she's going into this more vocal, loud vocal bit, just powerful stuff. Yeah. I call this one Explore Amos.
Explore Amos. Fair enough.
Absolutely gorgeous. Fucking brilliant song. A weird one to, write a song about and put on an album, but it's great music.
That's what's so good about this songwriting in general. It's a lot of it is obviously painfully personal stuff, and the rawness and the willingness to be that honest, and put it out there for scrutiny for fucking dickheads like us to look at. Man. Yeah. 20 years down the line. It's a bravery that I love in music.
Oh, totally.
And it's Anyway, right.
Okay, well, yeah, Icicle, wonderful stuff. Wonderful. That's track number 9.
Okay, track number 10 is called Cloud on My Tongue. Okay, so this is another stripped down one.
Yes,
very
indeed it
much
is.
so. Again, this one's very, very, very lyrically oblique.
Oh, this is impenetrable.
That's how I found it.
Absolutely impenetrable. This one.
Unlike it, Icicle.
God's sake. Yeah.
No,
I've got a cloud sleeping on my tongue. He goes, then it goes, and kiss the violets as they're waking up. Leave me with your Borneo. What?
Yeah. Well, I kind of read the explanation for Borneo.
Yeah. I mean, I think there was a couple of different angles she came out from as well.
It all seemed quite tenuous, to be honest with you. It didn't necessarily work as a metaphor. But this one doesn't really land with me.
No, I think this is mid-table.
Very much so. And I guess maybe it's because I don't understand it. And a lot of the time, I think with... even if it's musically sparse, if you can hang your hat or you can get your hooks around a lyric, and it can make you think about it, that's enough. But without that, you're just kind of left with the piece itself as a whole.
Sure.
And this one, musically, it's just not overly distinct. It doesn't stand out in the rest of this record. It's
there's nothing wrong with the music. It's just it's fine.
Yeah.
It washes over. And even whenever I did read through like quotes and interviews and stuff, trying to work out what it was about, and she gives some clues, there's not a kind of a bite to it where I can sink my teeth into. It's like, fine. This is track 10. More than happy for there to be one that I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Let
cool.
that one go then.
Right.
Next track is called Space Dog.
Yes, it is. And if I thought that the previous song was impenetrable lyrically, this is fucking out there.
This is absolutely, and this sounds like Bat Dance era Prince.
This is wonderful. That bass line is so fucking cool. This just dirty funk, and that vocal as well. That just, oh my god.
I just put music. Musically, it's just incredibly interesting, super dramatic. Yeah, lyrically, utterly, as you say, utterly impenetrable. Don't get it at all.
No.
But there are so many bits of the track, little lines of lyric here and there where you're like, oh fuck it, I wonder what that means.
Sure.
I've come to no conclusions at all about
Space
it.
Dog. Yeah, they're like, deck the halls, I'm young again, I'm you again, racing turtles, the grapefruit is winning.
I mean, this just sounds like it's just skipped into a totally different track, doesn't it?
Totally. Yeah.
And then...
Yeah. Lemon pie, he's coming through, our commander still, Space Dog.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, Tori. I mean, she has described this as a bit of a mushroom trip. Right. So, I think maybe even she's like, this is out there. It is absolutely insanity going on. And I think she's being deliberately obtuse for shits and giggles at some point of it. But that's fine, because when that bass comes in, and I think the next time it comes in, there's kind of the scratchy funk guitar over the top of it as well. Here we go.
Oh, there you go.
That pulsing bass. Yeah. This, whenever I was listening through and I had it on the background, this bit of this song really stood out above everything else first to me. I was like, oh, what's that? I want to know more about this. When she does the chorusy bits on this, I'm like, okay, whatever.
Do you think it sounds a bit Bond theme?
Oh, it does a bit. Yes, I like that. Yeah, definitely does. And
Can you imagine Tori Amos agreeing to do a
Bond
Bond theme?
fucking hell. That would be a turned down song that she submitted. Yeah. But this definitely shows above a lot of other songs how much I really don't give a shit about lyrics a lot of the time. And if it's got a bass line and a beat that I can get into, that's what I want.
So for me, I think there's just bits. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I think there are nice bits of fun lyric that I just go like head scratchy. Yeah. But yeah, I really like this one.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit too long. 5 minutes 12.
Oh, it's definitely too long. It's definitely too long. Give me 4.5 minutes in this top.
Precisely. But mate, Space Dog, I'm in. I don't know what you've done, Tori. I don't know what you had to drink before this came on, but well done. I think that's wicked, and that definitely shows more of your man on bass from the Meters, his influence, I guess. She has said that some of this it was supposed to be because the kind of the pulsing beat. It's like being in the womb. She said something about that, so I get what she's going with that, but it's just, to me, it's just like a train just keeps on chugging. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, top notch.
Fantastic. So that is the 11th track. So we've got 12 on this one. So the last track.
Right.
The last one is Yes, Anastasia. Yes, Anastasia. This is the longest track at over 9 minutes.
Yeah, 9.5 minutes on this one. And, for me, seeing that the final song on an album is 9.5 minutes, that can be a frightening prospect, because I think either, okay, you've gone balls out and you've left your massive outro epic and it's going to be just this huge closer, or it's a song that the producer's gone, okay, I know you want this on the album, I can't put it anywhere else because it's a bit fucking long and weird, we'll put it at the end. So there's
or it's a Tool album and you go, there's a 10-minute song at the end of this. The rest of the songs are also 10 minutes long. Yeah, look, so musically this is kind of more classical in its approach. I kind of want to say Baroque a little bit, but I think I might be misusing that.
I'm not sure. She has said that in this one she's influenced by Debussy and some of the Russian composers as well in different parts of it. Okay. So definitely more classical stuff. To me, this fits more into the let's just put this on at the end, because it doesn't stand up enough for me.
I mean, I kind of agree with you.
Right.
As it progresses, it has some of those big cinematic flourishes.
Oh, I mean, the string section when it comes in on this, the real drama on this. And I read a thing as well. Apparently, when she was recording this, the record company paid a lot of money for a massive name string arranger to do the strings on this.
Yeah.
And he came in, and it was all done, and she hated it. Right. And apparently she was in the bar with the producer and her partner at the time, Eric Lawson, and one of the other mixers, and they were having some margaritas, and she was talking about how much she hated it, and she said, I want to go and just delete it. I want to start again. And they were like, this is cost. Some people would buy a house for the amount of money that the record company paid this. And she was like, don't care. And she walked into the studio and erased it. Wiped. And started again with a different arranger. And this is what we now hear on this when it comes in. And she loves this. But it really does go to show, this is, obviously why she now produces her own shit. Yeah. She won't take anybody else's opinion. And also, she's not scared to go, nah, that didn't work. Yeah. Fucking, how many hundreds of thousands? Doesn't matter. Does not work. So, yeah, there you go.
But look, so this one, it feels spectacularly self-indulgent, this track.
Sure. Yes, it does.
But on an album that is so unrepentant about, kind of fully embracing what you want to do. And, and going in line with what you say. I kind of almost feel like maybe I'm in the wrong. I don't know. But it doesn't do it for me. Maybe if I listen to it a lot more, it will. Maybe I haven't fully embraced it yet. But
I mean, I wondered that about a few of the songs on here. Like, again, not having had 30 years of listening to this. Yeah. And only having, let's say, 9 or 10 listens proper. Yeah. Perhaps I am missing it, and big Tori fans will go, no. Yes, Anastasia is one of her best songs. It's a classic. I don't know.
Yeah, but for me, it just feels it feels a bit unwieldy. It doesn't give the epicness of its runtime. Whereas, as we said at the start, Pretty Good Year is a really strong start to this album. Feels very worthy. This doesn't necessarily feel like the crescendo this album feels like it might want to come towards.
I think she's trying for that with the massive orchestral bits, etc. It doesn't hit with me. But,
that's kind of how I feel about it as well. But I'll give it a few more listens. Down the
line. In terms of what it's about, apparently the Anastasia, who was the daughter of Tsar Nicholas II, who was executed in 1919, and Anastasia executed along with him. But then there was a woman turned up in America who claimed to be Anastasia, was still alive, who died in 1984, and there was this kind of, there was a book about it, and it was this, is it? Maybe? Is she? Tori Amos, anyway, says that she had really bad food poisoning after bad seafood, was throwing up and shitting out lots of crab, and was visited by the ghost of this woman who claimed to be Anastasia.
Amazing.
And this woman, this presence, said...
How bad was that seafood?
Exactly, yeah. And this woman said, no, you need to write a song about me, please. And so Tori had no choice but to do so, and that's what we've got here.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
There was also a massive communist witch hunt in 1919 in America where they rounded up 10,000 potential communists and anarchists.
Indeed. Yeah, now, isn't there a line in this about the blood of 10,000 men or something like that? Yeah, indeed. Yeah. I like to think that the Anastasia, the spirit who visited her, was kind of stuck between heaven and hell until somebody would write a song about her. So, Purgatory Amos.
And then, Purgatory Amos, nice.
Yes.
And then once she was released, she was able to have a string of high energy dance classics.
I'm free. Yeah, there you go.
Right. Okay. So look, this is Under the Pink Man.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty fucking good album.
I do. I still prefer Little Earthquakes because I got more of a relationship with it, and to me there are more strong songs that I will take with me a lot more. But I was very pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I was really into it. So many of the songs work brilliantly that the ones that don't, that's fine. That's not a problem.
Yeah, and this is the thing is that, you know, when you talk about this as a complete piece of work, this would be something I'd put on as an album. And the tracks that didn't work for me as well, they don't not work enough that I'd be skipping them.
No, totally fine. Totally fine.
So I'd in an album based era, I'd put this on. I'd be like, this is a brilliant album. And had I, were we back in that era where stuff was a little bit less disposable than it is now?
Yeah. You bought the CD, it's going to be on.
You'd probably, fully gloss over. You'd learn to like the album tracks as you went, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
that's how it would go. But yeah, I'm giving this a strong thumbs up. We've had quite a lot of feedback on
Indeed,
this.
we asked for various kind of listener thoughts and memories about this one, and we did that with a nice little response. I'm going to start with a handwritten letter from my friend Niall. He sent me a handwritten letter.
Such a thing still exists.
I didn't know it was possible.
Have you seen my handwriting? It isn't for me.
He says, as a fan of Little Earthquakes, I was nervous as hell when I bought the cassette of this in the late winter of 94. If the album was a dud, I'd have put up too much faith and hope into an artist who was going to disappoint. And I get that. There's such a weight of expectation that he said she did not disappoint. When that Precious Things-esque wail and screech of guitar kicks in during a pretty good year, I knew she hadn't lost it. He agrees that this is a journey away from Little Earthquakes. And she has said as well, she has gone deliberately more poetic and oblique in her lyrics, and it is moving away from where she was, which is absolutely fine. And I imagine it probably gets even weirder in further albums. Niall has said that this isn't his favourite album. That is Scarlet's Walk, but he still thinks this is a fantastic album. That's fair. We also had a really nice email from Andries Provost, and again, I'm probably pronouncing that entirely wrong, ages ago, and he was just getting in contact before we started this season to say what he thinks about what was coming up in 94. And he's got a little bit about Tori. He says he's wondering what our opinions will be on Tori Amos. I've never been as fond of her as I am of her most obvious font of inspiration, St. Catherine of Bush, but the singles from the album are all gems. Even I struggle with the idea of a 9.5-minute album closer called Yes, Anastasia, though. And yeah, I think we would agree with you on that. That was a step too far for me, anyway. Other people who got in contact on the Twitter with Stephen Hill. Big shout out to Stephen Hill from True Cult Pop again. Thank you once more for coming on our last episode. He said, growing up with Kate Bush being played a lot in my house, discovering Tori and this album in particular was like having my own personal version of that with an alt-rock twist, which I can kind of get, because if your folks or your older brother or whatever, Kate Bush is the one, this can be your version,
Absolutely.
That's fair enough. Superb record, he says. Pretty good year. The Waitress and Bells for Her, all gorgeous, and Cornflake Girls anthemic, which is, definitely would agree with that.
So yeah, and Joe Bell Peace Prize got in contact with us. I remember 13-year-old me being absolutely transfixed by Tori Amos when I saw the Cornflake Girl video. Weird and wonderful. Yeah,
definitely.
Going to go along with that.
And without being crass, I imagine if you were if you're 13 and you see a Tori Amos video, that's going to stir something in you, because she is so just passionate about everything as well. It's one of those ones like, I like what's happening right now. Yeah. Bradders, he said he can't fit it in a tweet, so he'll email it instead, and he did. And he's got this is a great email. I'll read this out because it's a lovely story. My introduction to Tori Amos and this record was actually a drip feed into my subconscious over a period of about 6 months in 1995, while I was sharing the same bus commute to college with a girl I didn't know at all, but played this album every day on the journey. I had no idea what it was, but the high notes and louder bits of Tori's voice bled out through these tinny headphones she used to have, And to be honest, it grated on me a lot because I was only hearing the tinny half version, didn't have a Walkman of my own to join it out. We only ever chatted once when stuck in traffic on the commute home one night when I suddenly found her reading my Kerrang over my shoulder and an interview with Trent Reznor. She said, "That guy's on the album I'm listening to, you should give it a go." And that's how I discovered Under the Pink, in a cultural exchange for the Downward Spiral. I only ever encountered her once after that and never actually found out her name. But had I never spoken to her, who is to say when or if indeed I would have completely fallen in love with the music of Tori Amos. That's a nice wee story.
That's a great story, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
This girl just came into his life, told him about Tori Amos, never seen it again.
It got a bit of that kind of Metro hookups kind of thing as well.
It does as well. Yeah.
If you were the girl on the bus.
It's tinny headphones. Paul at PRS Books, my introduction to Tori, and an album that massively broadened my musical palette. Proper 10 out of 10 album, no duff tracks. And if either of you say there are, I will fight you.
We're fighting Paul, I think.
Yeah, okay.
We didn't say duff, though, did we?
No, I said a couple were a bit boring. I will go that far.
But yeah, all right. Fair. Look, we're broadly with you, Paul. Don't fight us, man. Darren at DMA237, a brilliant album of which he has a few. Another one which added to my ever-expanding musical palette in the 90s. When this and the debut album came out, there was just nothing else around like it. Still gets a regular spin in my house.
Nice. Yeah, no, I would agree that there really wasn't anything else. She did a tour with Alanis Morissette because someone obviously went, "Oh, there you go, female fronted tour," but they're not the same.
No,
they're not the same.
Not all women are the same.
What?
Birds. The Birds tour.
Oh, God, yeah. But there wasn't. I can't think of anything else around that time that was this level.
The closest thing that I can think to it is something like Nine Inch Nails.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And even that is a different type of authorship, you know.
For sure. Yeah.
But you know, you can definitely see a kindred spirit between Trent and.
Well, yeah, fast friends anyway.
Next, Gaz Jones. Big up, Gaz Jones.
Yes, Gaz.
Cornflake Girl on Top of the Pops in early 94 was a game changer for 16-year-old Gaz. Nicked my ex-girlfriend's copy of Little Earthquakes and didn't look back.
Yeah.
And he doesn't say whether
whether
they broke up because of album theft.
Yeah, totally. Michael Collins said he already owned Little Earthquakes and loved it, so was ready and waiting for this. I was not disappointed. But I would imagine that is a theme that if you were into Little Earthquakes and you did then give this a go in 94, which I didn't, you probably were straight in there. And I probably would have been at the time, but I'm a dickhead. Didn't do it. Look, thank you very much for people for getting in contact. I really, really appreciate that. We are now, though, kind of at the point where we need to decide on songs for a playlist. If you are new to the podcast, and this is, season 5, you may not have been with us the whole thing, we have an ongoing playlist where we have to put at least one song from every album that we do, every number one album, and a maximum of 3 onto the playlist as a kind of representative, that's not the right word, but as an example of what we think the best songs from every album we've done are. And so it's just a weird playlist that runs from, Def Leppard, Fleetwood Mac, Phil Collins, Alita Adams, The Farm, whatever. So we're going to have to put at least one, maximum 3 Tori Amos songs on there. Yeah. So first of all, I'm absolutely not saying this is a one-tracker. There's more than that I think deserves to go on.
Yeah, I'm saying this is,
sometimes we struggle to put one on.
If there's ever a case for a 3, this is making it. But, it doesn't have to be 3 if we can't agree on them. But, and Cornflake Girl is a lock, really, but do we want to put it on because everyone knows it?
Well, indeed. Well, let's see what else we come up with, because I would go with God.
God, 100%.
I think it's fucking fantastic.
It's on.
Okay, so that's one done.
God,
absolutely brilliant.
Okay, so now, you don't like Bells for Her or Past the Mission, do you?
No, I think they're too mid-table for me.
Okay, see, that I think you're incredibly wrong.
Right, but I do really like The Wrong Band, and I know it's a bit silly.
Well, I like The Wrong Band as well. I'll put The Wrong Band on.
Okay, so that's possible. But I think The Waitress is fucking incredible.
Waitress. Right. 100%.
So, I would go God and Waitress for top 2 there. Yeah. Cornflake Girl, possible, absolutely. I think Icicle is absolutely beautiful.
I think Icicle is beautiful as well, man.
So, but then I fucking love Space Dog, but it's bits and pieces of Space Dog that I love.
Yeah, that's Yes, Anastasia is out.
Yeah.
Cloud with My Tongue is out. Icicle is a possible. Cornflake Girl is possible.
It's there in the wings waiting. I don't know if we're going to need it.
But, Pretty Good Year is fucking great as well.
Yep, that's a good song. Okay, God, Waitress, and I think we're between Cornflake Girl, Icicle, and Pretty Good Year then.
Yeah. Everyone's heard Cornflake Girl, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But that doesn't mean that's a bad thing, because sometimes you want something that you know to come in on the playlist.
Yeah.
Icicle, Icicle is a little bit too long.
Okay, it does have the 2-minute non-intro that I don't think we need. Okay, so yeah, let's not do it. Right, in that case, I would go Cornflake Girl over Pretty Good Year.
All right, Cornflake Girl it is.
Do those three?
Yep.
Right. And the last bit of thing I've got here is that my mate Niall has given me an envelope, sealed envelope, with the handwritten letter.
With a kiss?
Hopefully. I will,
or some piss.
And he said he's basically told me not to open this until after we decided what our ones were. So I've now opened it, and he's going to let me know what his ones, just to see if they match.
Yeah.
Like I say, Niall does the Zeros podcast. Really good fun. Go and have a look. Oh, interesting. Right. Number 3, Waitress. A furious, hilarious exploration of female rage, quoted by Neil Gaiman in screen adaptation of Good Omens. That's number 3. We agree on that. Number 2, Cornflake Girl. I don't care how obvious the choice is. Even the most deep-cut fans whoop for joy when she plays this live. Oh, right. There we go. We've got away with that, I think. Number 1, though, Cloud on My Tongue. What the fuck, Niall?
No.
It starts so unassumingly and develops into such a beautiful orchestral piece. That's his number 1. I'm shocked at that one now. That's not the agreement I thought we might have. But you know more about Tori Amos than me. He's also going to see her live in Belfast this month, and he's pretty much wetting himself daily in excitement. Fine. Okay, well, there you go. We were almost in total sync there now, but not quite. But thank you for making all that effort. I really, really appreciate it. But there we go. All right. Great album. Well done, everyone involved, especially you and me, Dave. Tori Amos, well done.
Us.
But well done, everyone.
Mainly us, though, Tori. Come, let's not get ahead of yourself.
Absolutely. Okay, look, we're back, well, whenever we can, with Enigma. And that's a horrible sentence.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't see myself pushing things aside in my schedule.
Exactly.
So we'll be back in 2024 with...
Fuck's sake. Right.
Yeah, we'll be back. It can't be worse than the last one, right?
Fingers crossed. Famous last words. Cool. All right, look, thank you very much for joining us again.
Yeah, I'll see you later, mate. Take it easy.
Cheers. Bye. Thank you for checking out this episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. It was produced and edited by us, for which we can only apologise. We are on Twitter at PCL Podcast, on Instagram also at PCL Podcast, and Facebook.com/PCL Podcast. All of these, plus links to our various Spotify playlists, etc., are on our website, which is PCLpodcast.com. Please feel free to get in contact via any of the social media or on PCLmusicpodcast@gmail.com.